Hello and welcome to the Punchline. I'm your comic strip critic, and oh boy, we've got a weird one this time around, folks. Weirder than that, somehow. Now, I've covered a lot of oddball strips here on the show before, ranging from little kids who play the game of life with the Grim Reaper to out-of-work cartoon characters, intergalactic spacemen who get knocked out by a slingshot, birds who run their own newspaper, a little boy who time travels in a cardboard box, but this is the one that has me stumped. A cone-shaped headed man in a bright clown suit standing atop a gigantic lily pad talking over social issues with his best friend. Do you see where I'm coming from with this one? This sounds like a strip that was made off of the contents of Ozzy Osbourne's Bloodstream during the 1970s. Welcome to the world of Zippy the Pinhead, folks. Where do I begin with this one? Well, Zippy was first created by Bill Griffith as an underground comic in 1971, appearing in various underground and counterculture magazines before finally getting syndicated by King Features. What's really interesting is that Zippy was inspired by the film Freaks, a 1932 film about circus sideshow performers. In particular, the microcephalic performers Schlitzie and Zip the Pinhead were what Griffith remembered most. Although some sources say that Zip didn't actually have the microcephalic condition and just looked like he did.
That's right! You're a big fat phony!
Normally this sort of thing will make me really uncomfortable basing a character's entire design around a physical and mental condition, because it would be way too easy to just simply make offensive jokes about it all the time. But to its credit, Zippy the Pinhead does something entirely different and completely inoffensive. It becomes entirely incomprehensible. Allow me to demonstrate. It was a hot, muggy day, so Zippy decided to eschew his usual styrofoam footwear and go with sandals and socks. I eschew styrofoam. No! Wait, stop. Do styrofoam shoes even exist? As a matter of fact, they do. Lady Gaga had a pair custom made for her one time, and that's it, really. Zippy the Pinhead's world is very, very weird. Proud of his new look, and unaware that wearing socks with sandals is now frowned upon, Zippy poses at the Three Rocks Memorial at Hammonasset Beach in Connecticut. Still eschewing! I got in touch with the park rangers at Hammonasset. There's no such thing as a Three Rocks Memorial. Later that day, Zippy sees the album cover of the 60s garage band The Barbarians on Google Images, and notes that they are all wearing sandals, so he gets his old Beatles wig out of storage, puts it on, and plays air guitar to Hey Little Bird until very late in the evening. Still wearing sandals. It was the 60s. There are a lot of garage bands. There might have been one called The Barbarians. I couldn't find one. And that's it. That's Zippy the Pinhead. I don't know what to say about it. Okay, the artwork's very detailed and well drawn, but keep in mind, you're likely looking at it on a giant computer monitor, not in an actual newspaper. To get a rough idea of how this thing really looks, imagine it appearing on your iPhone. Suddenly, all of that detail gets shrunk down a ton and lost, and the strip looks kind of cluttered and busy, honestly. But that's not really what you want to know about, is it? You want to know what's going on with the crazy, weird, incredibly surreal dialogue. What's going on with these things that don't exist, like the styrofoam shoes and the non-existent Three Rocks Memorial? Well, never fear, faithful viewer, for I am here to answer all of your questions. The answer... I have no clue what the answer is. This one's got me beat. Now, granted, Bill Griffith has gone on record to intentionally clarify that Zippy is not your traditional strip with a setup, punchline, and traditional sense of humor. Okay, you know, that's fair enough. Flash Gordon and Dick Tracy are the same way, and they're both good strips. However, Mary Worth and Funky Winkerbean also followed that school of thought, and their quality ranges from boring to downright offensive at times. So simply going against the grain doesn't give Zippy a free pass. But looking at the dialogue and the strip title, each panel is about being cool. wearing footwear to keep cool, going to the cooler climates of New England, and listening to the cool music of the 60s. It's just different cool things being displayed and talked about in the strangest and uncool way as possible. And that's about as straightforward as we're gonna get with this one. Oops! I've been watching too many 50s Richard Widmark movies. I hope I ended my 6-month relationship with Bar Chanteuse and Bancroft. If not, I'll have to hide in the bathroom while Marilyn Monroe fends off Elisha Cook Jr. Double oops, here I come sauntering down the sidewalk, having just killed Jim Backus with a ball-peen hammer. Okay. Now then, comparing the dialogue from the strip to the title of the strip, it's clear here that Zippy's mind is off the mark. And aside from that... I don't know! There's gotta be more to this strip than just relationships between the dialogue and the title. I'm missing something here. Somebody help me out! Oh. Thank you. The key to understanding this comic strip, or how to understand Zippy the Pinhead. That's incredibly convenient. How does one understand Zippy the Pinhead? To understanding this comic strip is the relationship between Zippy and Griffey. Actually, they're two parts of the same person. While Griffey is the adult or rational aspect, Zippy is the child or natural spirit in each of us. The strip is, in essence, a dialogue between these two facets of the divided self, an ongoing, non-linear exploration of the duality of personality. Well, why didn't you say so? I totally get it now. It's Calvin and Hobbes on Pink Floyd. I pored over the Zippy guide quite a lot, and to be honest, it still didn't help, mostly because it seems out of date now. The guide focuses a lot on the interaction between Zippy and Griffey, but what about those strips where Zippy's by himself, or not even in it at all? Zerbina begins to sway a rockin' beat. She gets her groove on. She's feeling fine and getting down. Finally, she kicks out all the stops and wails in that funky air glockenspiel. I don't even know what to do. I guess the funny or interesting thing here is that she plays the air glockenspiel and not the usual air guitar. But when everything else is already so weird and bizarre and surreal, an air glockenspiel somehow becomes normal-ish. It's not enough, I guess. At the end of the day, Zippy the Pinhead... It confuses me more than anything. I want to be clear here. I don't dislike it, as the detailed artwork and overall sense of creative insanity makes it an interesting strip to read, at the very least. But at the same time, I meant that it's a bit too pretentious and inaccessible for me to really enjoy it. It just seems too weird to understand, and that's saying something from a guy who likes The Far Side and Leo. When you have to have a how to understand this comic guide to enjoy it, and it still doesn't really help, then I think it might be worth it to reevaluate how the strip is being made. Then again, when some papers have pulled Zippy from the comic section in the past, the editor gets flooded with angry letters asking for Zippy back, so that must mean he's connected with an audience somewhere. So, should you check out Zippy the Pinhead? Yes. Absolutely yes. I highly recommend that you do. I personally may not have liked Zippy all that much. I may not have understood him, but then again, maybe I'm not part of his target audience. Maybe one of you out there will discover him and really, really like him. And at the very least, I promise you that you will never read anything this unique and interesting in the comics pages for a long, long time. I'm your comic strip critic, and I read the funny pages in the hope that someday they will be.